Hello. Hi, Lynn. How are you? And Cindy. Good morning. Happy Thursday. Shannon. Oh, so the sisters are here. That's great. Good morning. How are you ladies doing? Getting ready for the holidays? Carolyn, good morning. I hope you're well. I hope everyone is managing with the holidays, with life, with the weather, with whatever that you need to be navigating during this crazy time. So if any of you have anything in particular to tell me, put it in the chat box. Oh, great, Cindy. Yeah, thanks for reminding me. So I have a 12-day giveaway, and today's day 5, so there's still 7 more days left. Today, the sleep tip and giveaway, I actually have an 8-minute guided breath work in there. And in that one, I'm using a block, and I say you can also use a blanket. And that's a really nice way to ground our mental energy when we're having a lot of stress, to bring the awareness to that present moment. And so today's that guided meditation. I think in the next day or two, there's a 14-minute practice of a dancing warrior sequence that I have. And so 7 more days of tips. And I think 3 more videos. I don't know. I can't remember it all. But yeah. Well, I'm glad you guys are enjoying that. Share that with whoever you think may benefit as well. And I just put up a new video yesterday. 2 videos I put up that are new. One of them, I actually made it for my mother. So my intention was someone that has limited mobility or needs to be in a chair. So it's a chair postural awareness video. And I made it gentle enough for anyone. So especially people that are either need to go really, really gentle or have an issue or an injury or any kind of shoulder issues, postural issues. So that's what my intention was when I put that video together. So that's up. That's a, I don't know, maybe a 14-minute video. Is it a 14-minute or a 10-minute video? Can't remember. But I did put up a really great, fun cooking video. My other videos, I have 5 videos up that are cooking, and they're 14 minutes long or 12 minutes long. This is speed, 2 minutes, vegan cream of broccoli soup recipe. And it is delicious. I had it for a couple of days and shared that with my family, my parents. Broccoli has sulforaphane, which is one of the key ingredients to detoxification aspects of our bodies. I believe that the glutathione pathway uses the sulforaphane to create glutathione, and it's really great for detoxification, so supportive for the liver. And of course, if you have any issues, any interactions with medications, maybe you're not able to have broccoli. So if you're not able to have broccoli, mushrooms. So it's a vegan cream of, because it uses coconut milk. And anyway, it's only 2 minutes, so it's really fast. You guys could watch that video. Let me know what you think. Comment below and let me know. So Frida, good morning. Great. I'm glad you're enjoying that as well. So we were talking about the 12 days. I hope you're all on there. Stevie, good morning. Joyce, good morning. Great. You're enjoying it as well. Awesome. So hopefully all of you were in that for my tips. And share that if you want to share that with someone. If they go to my website and sign up for my newsletter, I think it's there. I'm not sure. You might even want to send them the first email that had the link to sign up here. So I didn't want to bombard my entire email list with my 12 tips unless people wanted it. So I made it an opt-in. All right. So I think that it's about time to get started. Yes. All right. So for today's practice, Yoga for Osteoporosis, this is actually this is my last live class of 2020. So that's pretty crazy to think. I'm only off for, I think, 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. So I'll be back, and I have plenty of recorded videos for you to watch if you want to. So for today's practice, yoga for bone health, I plan to do the 12 poses that were studied in Dr. Fishman's first series. He has 3 of them, because these actually have proven to increase bone density and have been tremendous for many that practice with me on a weekly basis. And so I would like to share all 12 of the poses today. And so that means I'm going to do a little bit less of warming up and strengthening. I'll do some, of course, I'll incorporate that. I think it's really important to start with muscles that are warmed. And actually today we're going to begin the practice from standing to the floor. So we're going to do it different. If you're with me last week, I did from the floor to standing, so I'm going to do it a little differently. However, we will begin on the floor because it's important when we begin the practice of yoga to arrive to this moment. The word yoga is both the goal and the practice itself. It's to bring yourself to present moment awareness. So we are going to go down onto the floor to ground our mental energy into our body. For today's practice, you will need a block or something that can act as a block. So that could be a rolled up towel, a strap, a belt from your closet, something like that, anything that along those lines. So those are 2 things you're going to need. And then a blanket is always a lovely prop. And we'll begin with the blanket. 2 different options today to begin. You could begin with the blanket underneath your head and be in a flat position, having your head supported for a basic Shavasana pose. Or if you'd like to add a little bit of supported extension, I'd like to roll up this blanket. The more you roll it, the tighter the roll is, the thicker your blanket, the bigger the opening. So depending on how big this gets, so you could have had a wider roll or a more narrow roll, and that's going to give you a different height. Whatever the height of this is going to determine how much stretch you get in your body. So make sure it's appropriate. That's important. You could stretch too deeply, and that's something we don't want to do. So coming onto your buttocks, whether you're going to be doing the blanket on the head or this rolled up blanket, and then you're going to come to the side because this is a bone health class. So we're going to take into account our thoracic spine and not flexing or rounding that spine. Take your hand away from the side as you bring yourself down onto the blanket. If you're going to do the blanket behind your spine, your tushy is on the floor. So let me just show you. The blanket starts at my low back. So the tushy is on the floor. That blanket is supporting my whole spine. And then for some of you, you may need to either fold the blanket on the top or make it like a little bump so that it could fill in the space of your neck. So find what's appropriate for your body. Begin with your knees bent. If you are flat on the floor with a blanket behind your head, also arrange your body in a way that is comfortable. So closing the eyes, going to the place of feeling and noticing. So you could feel what you feel and notice what you notice. And when we develop this deep interoception or any inner body awareness, that's when we can make sure we stay in the safety zone when we practice the physical asana of yoga. So it's very important for you to take care of you, for you to listen to this inner teacher in your body that tells you that's an appropriate place to go or that's not appropriate. So let's begin by closing the eyes, dropping into our body. Hands can be along the sides. If you bring your arms into a scarecrow or a goalpost arm position, that is going to deepen that stretch happening in the chest. You could do this whether you have something behind your spine or not. Knees bent at first allows most of the work to take place up here, and it lets the low back not have to join the party to help with any tension that's created. So it's nice to begin with knees bent. For some of you, you may stay here the entire time. Some may want to eventually straighten the legs. I like to take my feet a little wider than my body and allow my knees to fall in towards each other and rest up against each other. And then taking your arms out to the side with the eyes closed so you could feel your way into what's appropriate for you. And if you do have an issue in tissues, especially in the chest area, shoulder area, be really aware and integrated in your body in terms of how it's feeling so that you know where to go with this. lots of factors involved there in terms of what is your range of motion, how flexible are your joints, how hydrated are your joints, how balanced are your minerals that allow contraction and relaxation to enter the muscles. Arms are to the side, palms are up. Keep the mouth closed, let the jaw release, relax. Let the face relax. Back teeth release so they no longer are touching each other. Find that center point in your head and then bring your awareness to your breath. Begin to follow your breath in your body as if you could see it happen, as if your breath had a color and you could see the color red going in the nostrils, into the lungs, filling the lungs up, feeling that expansion, and then feeling the breath being compressed out of the body. So the inhalation is the active part of the breath. Let's focus our awareness on our exhale, being more active on the pace at which the breath leaves the body. So keeping the mouth closed, you're going to breathe in and out through the nose. I will guide you with counting, and I will count for 4 on the inhale and 6 on the exhale. And then I'm going to extend that to 4 on the inhale and 8 on the exhale. So of course you go with whatever pace is appropriate for you. When we do the exhale at the end, I'd like you to engage your belly. So bring your awareness to the belly, below the ribs, the whole belly. And as you slowly contract, squeezing, feel your belly get tight. Feel your belly button press towards the spine as you try to press and squeeze, and then press upward underneath the rib cage. That's going to be your exhalation to deeply exhale and press all the breath out of your body. So let's prepare. Take a big exhale. Let's begin. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Adding on. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Continue on your own, counting in your mind, counting whatever is appropriate, extending the exhalation.
Stay with your breath, counting with your breath, extending the exhalation, squeezing the breath out of the body at the end of that exhale up towards the lungs. Finishing this last breath. Squeeze out that last drop. And then giving the breath back to the body. Noticing the body breathing itself. If your legs are straight, go ahead and bend them. Wiggling your toes, your fingers. Let's gently and slowly roll onto your right side. Noticing how you're feeling, noticing the activity of your mind, noticing if you're able to stay in the moment and count and stay with your breath, or if there are challenges in your mental energy, just noticing what you notice. Take the left hand on the floor in front of you. We're going to use the hand to push away from the floor, not pull ourselves up by lifting the head. So push your hand into the floor. Notice if the inclination is to lift the head to lift you up, and try not to do that. Pressing the hand into the floor. Let's let the arms start to push into the floor to activate the upper body muscles. And then let's go ahead and bring yourself onto the blanket. So fold the blanket and bring yourself onto the blanket. Let your hands go a little wide and forward. So we're going to weight our wrists, but hands are forward and wide. Let your body go back and forth, side to side. And then let your body go forward and back. So we're warming up shoulder joint, hip joint, and settling the spine in this neutral position. Forward and back. You're not rounding your spine. We're not coming into this. You're just going back and forth. So it's as if you could still have a tray on your back. Nothing would spill. What would spill with movement, but not with bending the spine. And then let's bring your hands back. Bring yourself all the way up. Take your wrist. Shake your wrists. We're going to begin today's practice standing. And so for the standing practice, it would be nice to have a chair or to be near a wall, and also to have a block. So we were on the floor for a little while. We want to give our blood time to calibrate, allow the blood to get back up to the heart, to the brain. So pausing in between movements. Let's bring a foot forward. This is a safe way to move from being on the ground. Bring your leg forward and make sure your foot is forward of your knee. So you don't want your foot to be too close to your body. You can't stand up with this kind of an angle in the knee joint. Bringing your knee forward. Flip your back toes under. Take both hands on top of that front leg. Inhale, let your body weight go back, and then push yourself forward and up. And you might need to play with that because it depends how wide your stance was. Bending down to get your blanket. If you have the blanket on the mat, I want to make sure that every movement we do is a safe movement if you have bone density issues. Bending at the hip joint so the back stays nice and flat, or straight, not flat, but in its natural curves, to take the blanket away from the mat. And then you may need a block for the standing practice and or a chair. So have the block and chair handy. Also having a wall is a nice thing. And you don't have to have any of these, but it's nice to have them if you need them. So let's take the props off to the side for a second. It's nice to practice with bare feet. And if you'll notice, I'm taking my socks off. I work on my balance so that I can dress myself easily. And every morning when I go to put my socks on, I do it slowly. And I do it like this so that I'm
making sure that I maintain the range of motion in my joints and also the balance in my body. So it's nice to actually even use, they're called activities of daily living. Dressing yourself is one of them. So it's nice to actually slow down a lot of the processes that we do and to do it with awareness. So let's bring yourself onto bare feet if you can, and bring yourself into a little bit of a wider stance than your body weight. And I'd like you to turn into a piece of seaweed in the ocean so that you have a firm foundation with your feet, a little bit of a bend in your knees, so you can find this fluid movement in whatever range of motion feels appropriate for you. So moving through whatever feels appropriate, and you can let your arms be a part of this. You could go forward, backward, into all the different areas around your body as you bring movement into your joints, lubricating them, warming up the body to start to use muscles and start to add some compressive force in the joint capsules. Then we're going to do a little figure 8 with the pelvis. So I'd like you to take your hands on the front of your pelvis, and you're going to push one hip forward and lift it up. When you lift it up, let that heel come off the floor, and then let that hip go towards the back. Put that heel back down on the floor. Bring yourself forward, heel comes up, hip goes back. Try to turn this into a fluid movement, letting your knee joint be a part of it. Watch the rotational aspect. Make sure this feels okay in that opposite knee. So it could be, I'd like you eventually to not even have the feet come off the floor. I'd like you to get the pelvis to move in this figure 8 position. So if there's a Sharpie marker on the tailbone, it could make a figure 8 on the floor underneath you. And this gets the pelvis warmed up. And then let's do it in the opposite direction, leading with the opposite hip, lifting up. For some of you, this may feel pretty yummy. For others, it may be a challenge to try to figure out how the heck to get this movement to come into your body. You could even let your hips go back and forth, side to side, lifting up one hip. So loading up that lateral side of the body, that posterior hip capsule, getting the obliques to join the party, which are core muscles and rotational trunk muscles. So it may look like it's just a simple little thing, and then there's so much going on. All right. Take your hands. Let's let your hands go open and close, open. And make sure when you close that the closing is not this. There's not this coming in your body. That's the no-no with bone density issues. Osteoporosis, osteopenia, no-no. So let's take the hands down alongside the body. Inhale, reach up, get nice and tall. Look up with your hands. Exhale down. Palms reach up. For those with shoulder issues, maybe you stop here, or try to have your palms up. Push your arms along the side of the body. See if your body is able to move into a wider range of motion when you do that. Listen to your body. Be your own guide and teacher. Bring yourself back to center. So we'll begin with the first pose, tree pose, which is a balance pose. And for some of you, if your balance is a little bit precarious, you may want to have a chair handy or be near a wall. So do what's appropriate for you. Let's take the feet forward, and I'd like to show you something with the chair as well. If coming up into a tree pose is a little bit too challenging, you could actually have your leg on the chair for your tree pose. So this is an option for some of you as well, and this really gives a nice inner thigh stretch. So choose what's the appropriate version. That's version 1 if you need that. Bring your feet so that they're hip distance, which means they're really only about 4 inches between the big toes. It's closer than you would think, because we're going to load up one. You don't want to be too wide. It's too hard to come in, put you, doesn't set you up for success. So let's look down at the feet. The toes are together. Bring your body weight over to one side. Hands are on the waist. Opposite heel lifts off the floor. Knee out to the side. You could bring your foot up to begin on the top of the feet if you're feeling a little shaky, or you could bring your foot up in between your ankle joint and your knee joint. Hands can stay here, or the hands can come alongside your body. Palms are up. Arms are along the side. If you'd like to go a little stronger version, you could bring your arms up higher,
or bring your hands together above your head, making sure that you're not closing off your face with your arms if you do that. So don't move to the next place if it's going to compromise something, especially posture here. Gaze is forward. You can begin to look up. If you look up towards the ceiling, that adds another layer of challenge. And then closing the eyes or minimizing the gaze would be the last layer of challenge if that's appropriate for you and your body. So find your tree pose that's appropriate for you. Take one more breath. And then bring your hands back together. Your knee is forward. Let's come out of that. Notice the tension in the foot. It strengthens the foot in terms of the muscles of the feet and then also the nerves. Let's bring the body weight over to the opposite leg. Hands are on the waist. Come onto tippy toes, knees out to the side, and then bring your foot either on top of the other foot or all the way up. Make sure your heel is not on that inner knee joint. So stay in between the knee and the ankle. And it's the same load pressure in the hip, even if you bring the leg up higher. So it doesn't make it any stronger of a force in the hip capsule to have the leg higher. And then the hands come into whatever position was appropriate for you, looking straight ahead at something that doesn't move, or if it does move, into the center of it in its movement. Lift your heart, contract your core, protect your postural muscles, your alignment. Take one more breath, and then bring your hands together. Let's come out. That's the tree pose. We're going to move on now to the warrior two. If you need to have a chair, having a chair in front of you may make you feel a little more secure. So if you do need a chair, please. Or being near a wall is also a really great way for feeling that you have support if you have something behind you. Let's come into a wide stance. And this is why that chair becomes important if balance is an issue. You want to have a pretty wide stance. You're going to lift your toe, keep the leg straight as you turn the toes to the side. And then the back heel lifts up and moves away from you. And a very strong, firm foundation in the ground. So you press your feet into the floor, holding onto the floor with your feet. So they're very active. They're not just hanging out. Shoulders are forward, they're up, they're back, and they're down. Slight bend in that front knee. And then the pressure is on that back leg. So press away from the floor as you lift your arms. Feel like you're in a jar of honey, so have resistance there. And if you need to move that front foot forward to go a little deeper, the deeper you go, the more intense this is. Really lots of pressure in that back leg. Press your arms back, shoulders are away from the ears, pressing the knee back. Active feet, draw that activity up into the pelvis and then lengthen your spine out of your pelvis. Feel those postural muscles holding the arms up there, pressing the arms towards the back. Breathe deeply here. Take one more breath. And then you're going to exhale to come out of that. Let's come to the other side. Toes are forward. Pick the toes off the floor. Keep that leg straight as you point the toes in that direction. Back heel comes up and moves away from you. Slight bend in the knee. Shoulders are forward. They're up, they're back, and they're down. Strong contraction of the core. Reach the hands down as they come up. Press away from that back leg so that when you come down, your body goes straight down and doesn't go forward. So let your body go down as you add flexion to the hip and to the knee. Looking over the front middle finger, press the arms away, lower the shoulders from the ears. Sink as deep as you can comfortably. Active feet, press the feet into the floor. Draw that energy up into your pelvis. Rotate your heart forward. Warrior two. Take one more breath. And then you're going to unbend your legs to come out of that. Let's take the legs forward for a second, shaking the legs. Notice what you notice there. Notice if the heart rate accelerates
When we use more muscles, we need more oxygen. So deep breath. And then release. So this next pose, the side angle, is similar to the warrior pose. And I'd like to recommend you could use a block for this. So let me just show you the side angle pose. When we come into the side angle here, you may want to have a block behind you with this. You don't have to. We're going to be putting the leg on the arm on the leg. Okay, so let's come here, take a wide stance. Legs are wide, toes are pointing forward. Pick up your toes turn to the side, back heel moves away from you. I like to put a little bend in this knee first to get that nice action in my core. Shoulders are forward, up, back, and down. Pressing away from that back leg as I bend the front knee, coming down. And then when you come all the way down, bend the elbow. Tip over. Hand goes up towards the sky. If you are going to come down on the block, you can come down the block. The deeper you go here, the more pressure and stress, healthy stress, bone building stress we're creating in the body. Real active here. Feel what's stretching, feel what's moving. If you want to reach your arm up, press down the pinky toe edge of that back leg. Nice long line here, reaching your spine long. Heart is rotating forward. Take one more breath here. If you do have a block, keep hold of the block. Come back into your warrior two position and then come all the way up. Take your block in the right hand if you're going to use this. Toes are forward. Pick the toes up. Toes go to the side. Back heel moves away from you. Put a slight bend in that knee. Feel your feet in the floor. That's really important. The feet are a very large part of the standing asana. And it's lovely because it strengthens the ankle joint. A lot of the muscles that become the muscles of balance and alignment in that whole kinetic chain, signaling from the feet all the way up to the brain. Shoulders are forward, they're up, they're back, and they're down. As if you're in a jar of honey, resistance in your arms, push away from that back pinky toe edge, especially that back edge of the heel right by the ankle joint. And then bring yourself onto your side angle. So side angle would be like this. For those that are going to come a little lower, the block goes on the ground behind you, loading into your hip and your knee, a little more flexion. If you can load into the joints a little deeper. Heart rotates forward. Arm can reach up and over if you'd like. Deep breaths. Take one more breath here. Take hold of the block if you're going to bring the block up, and bring yourself back up to your warrior two, and then all the way up. The next pose that we're going to do is the triangle, and I'd like to show you a couple of variations. So if you have tightness in the back of your legs, you may need a chair here. For those of you who are a little more limber, you're going to be able to use the block. Notice that when I bend, I'm bending my hips and my knees. I'm not bending my back to put the block down, keeping my legs and bending my hips and my knees. So be very aware of the way you move. Because if you do have osteoporosis or osteopenia, the most fractures are in the spine, and it's from posture and from forward folding from our movements throughout our day. So we're going to come into Trikonasana triangle pose. Let's take the feet wide, and then the toes lift up, the legs stay straight, external rotation in that hip joint, and then the back heel moves away from you. Nice wide stance here. I find that a lot of people start off in a more narrow stance with this, and then they find that the wider stance allows them to keep that front leg straight. So having the chair there may be a security feeling for you and for your nervous system. Bring the shoulders forward, up and back. We're gonna keep the legs straight now. Take the arms up and out to the side, and then reach the arm away. Keep that armpit nice and open. And then bring your hand onto the chair. Bring your other arm up to the sky. For those of you that have a little bit more range of motion in that back leg, you could bring yourself a little lower. So either the chair or the block, the arm can stay here. Rotate the heart forward. So make sure your heart's not pointing down to the ground or your arm's not forward. You really want to rotate that upper trunk. You could reach the arm up and over. Feel that beautiful lengthening on the side of your body. Press your feet into the floor, draw that energy up to the pelvis, and then lengthen. Take that energy up the spine, shoot it out the crown of your head. Take one more breath. You could lead with this upper arm to make it a little easier, or if you want a little more challenge, bring your arm out to the side and then bring your entire torso up as if you're holding a big beach ball in your hands. Let's go to the other side. So always an opportunity to strengthen something, if you'd like, and moving with total awareness to keep your body nice and safe. Let's take the legs wide here, toes are forward. Pick up the toes turn under the chair, and then the back heel moves away from you. Feel that nice foundation. So the arches are lifting up. Imagine a eagle on top of a flagpole. So there would be this action of the feet. They're not flat, they're active. You feel that as you press down, there's a lift up, and that happens in the arches of the feet and then goes all the way up, and it's very supportive. The body. Shoulders are forward, they're up, they're back, and they're down. Take your arms out to the side and then reach your arms away. Keep your armpit open as you tilt your torso, letting your arms. So yeah, as you tilt your torso, coming onto the chair if that's the appropriate place for you, or coming onto the block. Arm can reach up and over. Heart is reaching forward. Trikonasana, triangle pose. Press the feet into the floor. Draw that energy up into the pelvis. Lengthen, lengthen, lengthen your spine. Lengthen that energy out the crown of the head. Wherever your arm feels more comfortable. Take one more breath. And then press your feet into the floor. You're either going to bring your arm down to lead the way to make it a little easier, or you could bring your arm up like you're holding a big beach ball, lifting up, holding that beach ball, and then bring yourself up. So nice to take care of your body like this and to strengthen your body. So the twisted triangle. If balance is an issue, I'd like you to have the back of your chair facing forward. So if balance is an issue, you're gonna set up like that, meaning that you're feeling a little precarious with your balance. For those of you that want a little more challenge, you're gonna take your seat of your chair to face you. You may want to have a block on the floor if you go a little lower. Oops, come back here, block. Let's take the front foot forward and the back foot back. So the leg that's forward is the one you're going to turn your body in that direction. So it's a twisted triangle position. So bring one foot forward, one foot back, and the toes are pointing forward, pointing the toes forward, hands on the waist with a flat back. You bend at the hip joint, keep your throat open. You're going to feel that stretch coming into that back leg. Then you put the opposite hand on the chair. Now, if balance was a challenge and you had the chair here, you may want to put your hand on the top of the back of the chair if you need to. And maybe this is as far down as you bend. For some of you, if you have a little bit more range of motion, you may want to go a little deeper with your twisted triangle. So choose what's appropriate for you. Press both feet into the floor. Keep the heels on the floor. Press your feet into the floor. Contract your core. Lengthen your trunk. Open up your shoulder. Arm can stay here, or it can open
whatever feels appropriate. Or you take the back of the hand, place the back of the hand on the sacrum, which is in your pelvis, and open your spine that way. Rotate your spine, open your chest. Take one more breath. Let's go to the other side. Front leg goes forward. Feet are about 2.5 to 3 feet apart. Toes are pointing forward. Hands are on the waist. Press your feet into the floor. Contract your core. Lengthen, lengthen, lengthen as you come forward. Bring the hand forward that's on the chair. So don't have it just underneath you. That could potentially be a little bit more rounding. Coming forward to get that length in your spine, hands on your waist. Press your feet into the floor and then twist your body over the direction of that front leg. Open your heart forward. If you're going to come down onto the block, you bring yourself down. Hand can go open out to the side or keep it on your waist. The most challenging pose in the practice in this first 12 series is definitely the twisted triangle. Keep that back heel down. Feet are active, toes are pressing in the floor. Lengthen your spine. Take one more breath. And then go ahead and put a bend in that front knee to bring yourself out of the place of tension. So for 2 twists on the floor, before I go down, I want to show, for those that have knees that do not bend, keep your chair handy because you may want to use the chair. So I'm just going to show you before we go down because I'll tell you to come back up if you need to. For those that their knees don't bend, when we do the second twist, you can actually come here where you have a cross leg and you use the wall to rotate the trunk. So this can be what those of you, if you have issues with bending your knees. So we're going to come down onto the floor, do the twists for this. When you come onto the floor, you're going to need a blanket, a strap, and a block. So have that handy. I don't know if you're down already, but I'd like to show you a little bit about coming down. A nice way to come down to keep the spine nice and long is to come down first with one knee, and you could be near a wall, and then the other knee, keeping the back nice and straight, and then bending the knees or bending to the side. So it really does matter how we move. So for the twists, I'd like to use a blanket or a block. So I'll do my twist on a block. Actually, I'll do it on a blanket. So we're going to do the first twist, which I think is the harder because I think we just came off of that hard pose. So let's do this. So I'm going to use the blanket on one buttock. So I'm going to sit on the blanket and bend that front knee so that front knee, I'm sitting on my heel. So for you guys, if you're mirroring me, this is probably your left side. So you would take your left side straight, bend the knee, and then put the left heel underneath the right tushy, and then bring the right leg across. And arrange yourself so that your left buttock, for this case, so that your right buttock is on top of your left heel and your right leg is across your body. And then hold on to your legs to get nice and tall here. So get as tall as you can. Really lengthen out of your pelvis here. Feel your spine nice and long. And then taking the left hand on top of that right leg, take the right hand on the floor behind you and try to get right alongside your body at first, closer to the center of your spine so that it's not out to the side, you're not leaning back. And then push down, get tall. It's the rotation begins at the lower ribs on up. So you're going to get nice and tall, inhale. For you that don't have knees that bend, you'll need to do that chair position. So probably I didn't need to have you come down on the ground. Sorry if that's you. So you're gonna get nice and tall, inhale. And then as you exhale, the lower ribs move to the right, the middle ribs, and finally the upper ribs move to the right. And then get nice and tall here, push your heart forward. Take the hand that's on the ground and move the hand back towards the left. So to help add that rotational force to the trunk. Deep breaths here down to your belly. Take one more. And then you're going to slowly, slowly, slowly unwind, bring yourself forward. We're going to go to the other side, so moving the blanket now over to your right buttock. So you place the right buttock on the blanket, and you need this left knee to bend. So the left knee bends, the left heel goes so that you're actually sitting, your right tushy cheek is sitting on your left heel. Then you take your left leg across your body. So it's a kind of a pretzel position in the lower body. And for some people, they can't get this action. So you may need to sit up on a chair, crisscrossing your legs or folding your legs, and you rotate over the direction of the leg that's on top. Same thing as we do on the ground. Take your hand on the floor behind you. Press your hand into the floor to get nice and tall in your spine. So feel that lengthening in your spine. Is on the floor right behind you, right alongside your body. So you'll feel your hand up against your body. Pressing down, get nice and tall, and then rotate the lower ribs, the middle ribs, and the upper ribs. Keep your shoulders low, slide the shoulder blades towards each other, lift the heart forward. And you can add a little bit more of the rotational force by taking the arm that's on the floor and moving it towards the side. So this time you're rotating in a left twist. So take your left hand on the floor behind you and move it towards the right to get a deeper twist. Keep your shoulders out of your ears, no shoulder earrings. Take one more breath. And then you're going to go ahead and exhale to come all the way out. That's the first seated twist. Let's go to the second seated twist. Many can do this on the floor. The knees, the legs stay straight. So I like to use the support of a blanket. You don't have to do the support of a blanket. If you don't need it, you don't have to use it. I find that it's nice for most of the people that I work with to have that elevation in their body. So I like to put a blanket underneath my tushy and come to the very front edge. So there's almost this forward movement of the body. And then reach under, grab a hunk of flesh, take a hunk of flesh lovingly towards the back. So you expose the sits bones. You can sit nice and tall here. And then let's take the left leg. Bend your left leg. Bend your left leg. Active legs here. Holding on to that leg that you're bringing in so you can get nice and tall. Keep your spine tall. You don't want to be leaning back. You want to be sitting right, growing right out of your pelvis. Take your right arm on your left leg and take your left hand on the floor behind you. Keep the elbow bent. Inhale to get tall, lengthen your spine, and as you exhale, lower ribs, middle ribs, and upper ribs rotate towards the left. Keep your right foot active. And then take that left hand, move the left hand towards the right a little bit more, press into the floor to get a little bit more rotation in your trunk. Shoulders are low. Don't let your shoulders go up towards your ears. So keep your shoulders down. Shoulder blades slide towards each other. Chest presses forward. Breathe down to your belly. Take one more breath. And then go ahead and bring yourself out. Let's go to the other side. Let's bend the right knee. Left leg is straight. Hands are on your thighs. Get nice and tall here. And then take your right hand behind you. Your left hand holds on to that right knee. Press down with your right hand, get nice and tall, inhale. As you exhale, lower ribs, middle ribs, and upper ribs. Rotate, rotate towards the right. Press your hand down, get nice and tall. Keep the left toes active here. You're trying to move your right ribs back, and your left ribs are moving towards the right knee that's bent. Take your right hand over towards the left a little more. Press down to get a little bit more tension and torque in your vertebra. Notice what feels appropriate here for you. Keep your shoulders lowered. Take one more breath. And then slowly, slowly, slowly go ahead and bring yourself out of that. So that's the 2 twists. Take your legs straight. Let's rub your knees. Extra love for the knees today, round in circles. Take your fingers and around your kneecap. This is where the quadriceps attach to the bones. They go over the kneecap right here, the quadricep tendons right here. And then along the side, the inside. Always nice to feel a little extra love to the knees. So we're going to go onto the ground and do the last poses in the practice that are supine and prone. So let's take the blanket over to the side. Take your props over to the side. So we'll actually do, let's use the blanket underneath the pelvis. So take the blanket underneath your knees and have your knees be all the way back at the back edge. We're going to come onto the floor, and before we do, we're going to add a little, we're going to add a plank pose, which is actually part of the second series. And this is a nice pose because this is a great one for you to add into your life as often as you can. We're going to come down into the dolphin version. So bring your arms forward and bring your forearms onto the floor. Flip your toes under so your toes are under on the floor. Press your hands into the floor. Press your arms into the floor. Back is nice and flat, and the low back reaches up towards the sky. Press your arms into the floor, your elbows and your knees, draw them towards each other, firing up those deep flexion muscles of the body, the core, the support, important aspects of posture, of alignment. Having strength in this area will contribute to balance, which can help with fall prevention. Very important if bone density issues are something that is of a concern. The gaze is forward. Take one more breath. And then you're going to bring your body down into the floor. Keep your elbows here. Move your body back so your hip bones are on the blanket and the elbows are underneath the shoulders. Palms are on the floor, forearms on the floor. Try to keep your belly soft here. So wiggle a little bit and let everything soften in that lower body. Then press your heart forward. Feel that stretch in the front of your body here. For those that have upper back and neck issues and postural issues, poor posture in the upper spine, this can be a nice way to strengthen those upper back and neck muscles. We're going to come down onto the floor and do our locust pose. So reach your body long as you bring length into your spine, bringing yourself all the way down into your tummy. Bring your arms alongside your body. Forehead touches the floor and the nose touches the floor. Bring the feet so that they're close together, not very far apart. Then I'd like you to press the hands into the floor. Inhale. Actually, turn the palms up. Yeah, palms are up. Reach your head forward. Inhale to lift your upper body off the floor. Let it not just be the head. The chest comes away from the floor, and then reach the legs off the floor. Reach the hands off the floor. Locust pose. Roll your legs in the sockets of the inner thighs. Roll up towards the sky. The soles of the feet are pointing up towards the sky. Lengthen out your feet, lengthen out your fingers. Try to get as high as you can here. If you'd like to add a little bit to this, you can take your arms out to the side, palms are down. Reach out the crown of the head, reach out the feet. Feel that strength in your body, locust pose. Strengthening the back of your body, your postural muscles, alignment muscles, helps with balance, helps to keep you upright, supportive for posture. Feel that strength in your body. Take one more breath. And then fold your hands one on top of the other. Take the forehead, rest the forehead on the back of the hand. Take your feet a little wide here and wiggle your pelvis back and forth, side to side. Bending your knees, let your legs go back and forth, side to side. Breathe down to your belly. Let's put the legs back on the floor. Breathe down to your belly here, down to the lower ribs and to your belly button. And keep your awareness in your body as you do this. So feel your body, feel the breath going down to your belly button. And then take one more breath. Take your right hand away from you. Roll onto your right side. Take a break here for a second. That was a little bonus there, because when you're on your belly like that, there's a couple of things that happen. If you breathe down to your belly and you direct the breath down there and you feel that, it's a great way to ground your mental energy when you're in a place of worry and fear and your mind is really getting the better of you. It's number one, a great way to ground your mental energy into the somatic. And then also for breathing and for increasing breath flow, I just learned this past week that if people are in some respiratory conditions in the hospital, they'll place people on their bellies so that it can increase your ability to breathe deeply. So being on the belly like that can be good for breathing, and it can be great to ground mental energy when you're in a place of stress. Let's take our hand on the floor, and don't lead with your head, lead with your shoulder as you bring yourself up. Let's take the blanket up to the top of the mat. You're going to need your block and your strap for these next few poses that we're going to do on our back. So let's bring yourself to the side and reaching your hand away with bone density issues, making sure you stay nice and safe in your spine. Bring yourself down onto the floor. Let's stretch our legs here. Taking your strap, let's do the right leg first. Bring the right knee in. Take the strap on your foot. Try not to throw it around. You're going to take the strap onto your foot, right where the end of the arch is and your toes begin, your metatarsals. And then you're going to keep that leg bent or straighten the leg if you can. The goal with bone strengthening with this pose, Supta Pada Uttanasana 1, the goal here is to keep the knee straight. So come into a position where you hold on to the strap, let your shoulder blades be on the ground, keep your elbows close to you. If you have a lot of tightness and the leg is really far away, it's probably better for you to bend your knee. So choose what's the appropriate position for your body. Press the straight leg into the ground if you have that straight, and then draw back towards the wall behind you. Feel a strong stretch behind your thigh. Keep space in your waist. Make sure your waist doesn't crunch up. Contract the muscles of the right leg, especially the upper leg muscles, and hug the bones, pressing the muscles up to the bones. And then you can draw the leg a little farther back maybe. Feel that stretch, especially where the leg attaches to the body. Let's take one more breath. And then go ahead and bend that leg. We're going to go to the other side. Bring the other foot up if you'd like. Take the foot on the strap, or if you're really working on making sure you bend your hip and your knee, you can come out of that and switch. So it's up to you. Take your hands around the strap, creating as much stress and pressure as we can behind the left hamstring area. This muscle group attaches onto the pelvis. We're trying to create stimulation to the pelvis. So the pelvis gets stronger. The bones react by laying down more bone tissue. Firming up that leg, shoulder blades are on the floor, elbows are close towards your body, knee is straight, the right leg is straight or bent depending on what the needs are of your body. Always listening to what your body needs, drawing that leg towards the wall behind you. Firm up the muscles of the left leg, pressing the thigh away from you with the muscles, creating space in your left waist. Draw that leg back towards the wall behind you. Feel that stress. Feel that tension. Take the breath there. Direct the breath to the place you feel that tension. Take one more breath. We're going to move into the inner thigh stretch. So keep the strap on the left leg. And again, here, that right knee can be bent, or you could straighten that right knee. Take the strap in the left hand and slide the hand down closer to your body. Hold on to that strap nicely. You could straighten the right leg. It's actually nice to straighten the right leg. It becomes a nice anchor here. Take your hand on your hip, contract your core, and then you lengthen your leg out to the side, making sure that leg doesn't go forward. You want to keep the leg towards your side. So for some of you, you may need to do this with a chair where your leg ends up on a chair, or you could practice up against a wall. Feel that inner thigh stretch, trying to get that left inner thigh as far away from the right upper thigh as possible. Feel that stretch of the inner thigh, creating space in that left waist. Don't let the waist get shortened here. Take one more breath. And then bend the knee or bring the leg back up straight, whatever is available for you. We're going to come on to the other side. So you could either bring the strap all the way off and bring the other foot up, or you could switch midair. Take your hand on the strap, slide your hand down, straighten the left leg, and then lengthen your leg out to the side to a place that's appropriate for you. You may need to have your leg resting on a chair, sometimes putting a block under the upper thigh. If you don't have that range of motion or flexibility in the leg, it could be very heavy to hold the leg there. So having a chair there to rest on or a block underneath that upper thigh, making sure you're still in a pretty strong work aspect. Bones are strong substances, and in order to create stimulation, we need to do strong work. So you want to go to the strongest, safest place available for you in your body, and making sure you don't go beyond that. Yoga is a healing practice, and it's for healing. We want to make sure we stay in that place of healing. Last breath. If you're going to bring the leg back up, firming up the core, or you bend the leg to come back in. preparing to do the last pose in the first series, the bridge pose. Like to use a block for this. This has a couple of applications when we use the block. It actually can be very corrective for lower lumbar spine. And Dr. Fishman has mentioned in our trainings that this is one of his favorite poses to do to help people with their low back to get it in nice alignment. So take the blanket away from your head, and we are going to lift our body up. So if you need to have something, have the least amount as possible. Let your head be nice and lengthening your back neck. So your head is nice and long, the back neck is lengthened, chin is tucking towards the chest, a block between your thighs or rolled up towel. And don't look side to side once you're in this position. So setting up your spine in this nice alignment, walk your feet closer to your body. The block is between your knees if you can, or the upper thighs if you need. And then you're gonna squeeze the block, let the low back find the floor when you do that. And squeeze the block, low back finds the floor. Hands are down alongside your body. And then you're going to slowly lift your body off the floor. Squeeze the glutes, squeeze the blocks, squeeze the glutes as you peel your spine off the floor. When you get about halfway, you could slide your shoulder blades closer towards each other. If you know how to clasp your hands and you're able to get your shoulders close towards each other so that you're not resting on your rib cage, your entire rib cage is up away from your arms, which I will tell you, most people that I work with cannot get that high up. If that's you, keeping the arms straight or the elbows bent, palms face each other, fingers are up towards the sky. Squeeze the block, press your feet into the floor, feel the feet pressing into the floor, squeeze the tushy, lengthen your knees away from you. As you lengthen your knees away from you, you'll get a little more freedom. So feel like now your knees are reaching away from you. Feel how the weight comes up and waterfalls to the upper back when you do that, lengthening your torso, getting that weight to be in the upper back, not in the head and the neck. Push away from the floor with your feet, squeeze the block, contract the glutes, lengthen your knees away from you, press your rib cage up towards the sky and over towards your face. Take one more breath. When you come down really slow. So you feel one vertebra at a time being placed back onto the floor. When you come close to the end of the ribs, lift the heels off the floor. Try to place the low back onto the floor before the pelvis. Feel how that lengthens the low back. Reach back for that support you had behind your head. Bring that back underneath your head. Take the block off to the side. The last pose of the day is the Shavasana pose. So bring your legs all the way straight, your arms along the side of your body, supporting your head. Final rest. Gently begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes, rolling your ankles and your wrists, and then bending your knees, bringing your knees one at a time, closing the eyes, feel your body as you move. Bring the knees into the chest and rock side to side, giving yourself a low back massage. And then roll all the way on to the right side. Using that left hand in front of you, pressing that left hand into the floor, using a lot of muscular action in left hand to bring yourself up to a seated position. Find whatever's a comfortable seated position for you. We're going to close our practice with sound, bringing your hands together. The thumbs touch the sternum bone. Lengthen your spine, lengthen the back of the neck. Tucking the chin down slightly. It's a very slight movement towards the chest. We're going to close with the sound Om, blending the ah, o, and sounds on your exhalation. Let's take a deep breath all the way down to the belly. Om. We bow our heads to each other in namaste, a mutual sign of respect and acknowledgement of each other. Namaste. Thank you so much for practicing with me. That was actually 13 poses. I threw in the plank pose from maybe the second series. And if you do these often, I think in the study that Dr. Fishman did, it was almost daily. He said that the people did a 12-minute version. So these 12 poses were done one after the other, and held for 30 seconds. And there was an improvement in bone density of almost 1%, which is huge, in the spine and in the pelvis. So there you go. Stay safe, warm up, make sure you listen to your body, and practice yoga. Let me see, there's my glasses. All right, well, I hope you feel good. I hope that that was nice and strengthening. Let's see. Let me see. Merry Christmas, Frida, Joyce. Did I say hello to you? I think I did, yes. Carolyn, you're welcome. Great. Yeah, my 12 days tips, there's going to be a practice in there, one practice. I'm going to post on YouTube the 12 poses. So I'm going to create videos for that so you can practice that over the holidays. Don't stop moving. Don't stop practicing yoga just because I'm off for 2 weeks. I won't be. I'll be doing my own practice. Yes, Cindy, you too. Be safe, everyone. Try not to go out too much. Really, it's just getting a little crazy out there. Since there's just a lot more cases. It's better to be safe than sorry. Yeah, thank you, Joy. So great. Thank you all for practicing with me. We got through 2020 almost together. And let's hope that 2021 ends up being amazing at the end and kind of finds some kind of balance and harmony pretty soon into 2021. So happy holidays, stay safe, be well, practice yoga, be strong, and here's to stronger bones. Oh, you did, is that Chris, right? Great, yes, and yes, perfect. Thank you so much, everyone. I am so happy to have you, and I look forward to seeing you in 2021. So enjoy my 12 tips, share it with whoever you'd like to share it with, and go to YouTube, Debbie Robinson Wellness, my channel, which you're on right now, and look at my vegan cream of broccoli soup recipe. And if you don't like broccoli, sub it out for mushrooms. And if you're gonna do the mushrooms, I would roast them first. I would cut them in half at least, roast them with a little bit of oil, or you could keep them dry if you'd like, for about 35 to 40 minutes on a 400-degree temperature. And then add that to your soup, puree it, make a creamy, vegan, yummy mushroom soup. Enjoy. All right, Stevie, you are welcome. Heart rate up, yes. Yes, yes, good, Stevie, you're right. There's a lot to do without me, so enjoy. I'll be enjoying. All right, see you, bye.